Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are going to be ranking every single new for 2023 Spirit Halloween animatronic. Now I am lying a bit when I say every single, since we do have a couple new releases still that haven't yet been revealed, but for the most part this is everything, and we kind of have an idea of what some of those yet to be revealed animatronics do, so I say we just get into it. Now, a quick disclaimer, I have not really seen any of these animatronics in person, so I guess technically this isn't my final opinion, and of course, in general, this is all my personal opinion, so please do not take any of this too seriously. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So right off the bat, we have Eternal Rest, and this is a very alright prop. It's good if you just want something small and you're just starting haunting, but even then, I feel like there are so many better options. It's pretty overpriced too. At the end of the day, it's just a small little animated tombstone. And the jump scare just doesn't work for me either. I feel like it wouldn't be too startling in person. So honestly, I'm going to put this in D tier. I might change that honestly, but I guess we'll see. So next up, we have Slim. Slim, I think I can probably put in solid A tier. Very detailed, licensed prop. Honestly, his entire body looks amazing until you get to the popcorn bag, and I feel like if they went through with the shadow puppets idea, it just would have worked a lot better. I get it would have been pretty difficult to achieve, but I feel like this prop had so much wasted potential. They could have totally used the shadow puppets, and instead they used the popcorn bag, so that's just kind of a shame. And next up, we have this cotton candy cocoon. I'm probably gonna put it in C tier. It's just alright. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I don't know how amazing the bloody face looks, and it's just overall kind of an alright prop. And next up, we have Stilts. I can probably safely put Stilton Beat tier. I know a lot of people like him, a lot of people don't. I feel like this is one I definitely need to see in person, because I know for a fact he's going to be huge. My only problem with him is that I'm just not the biggest fan of his color scheme and his overall face sculpt. I feel like if he was kind of a darker, grungier clown and not more of like a monster clown, I think the animation and the whole bowling pins idea would have worked fabulously, and it could have easily been an S tier, honestly. And next up, we have the Pretty Woman Leatherface. I think I can probably put this in B tier too. At first, I really liked this prop, but after seeing the Party City one, that one definitely just took the cake for me. I do still think like the overall head and the mask looks amazing, and I love the moving chain. The circling animation just isn't really doing it for me, and if this guy had better animation, I think I could probably put him higher. I think I will put him above Stilts for now, though. Alright, and next up we have Heckles. Now, face deformities aside, I'm probably gonna put this guy in B tier. I know a lot of people like him, some don't. I think he's fine. I think he's alright. Once again, I kind of want to see him without the face deformities. Then my opinion will probably change. Because if you didn't know, he actually got recalled from stores. And hopefully he'll come back later in the season, but I guess we'll see. But overall, the projection and the balloon idea was pretty cool. I don't know. He's just kind of an alright one for me. But it's weird because his description says that he's using servos, and he definitely does not use servos. Very, very strange on Spirit's part. Next up, we have Stalker. I'm easily putting this guy in S tier. I love his design, the fog, his head sculpt. Honestly, the only con I really have with this guy is the fact that the head's latex. And with the moisture, the fog, that was just a really bad move on Spirit and Fuyu's part, whoever thought of that. So really, I would only use the fog machine on Halloween night. Every other time you activate him, you really shouldn't be using the fog machine, just so you do not ruin that face. But overall, yeah, very sad that this guy's online only. I do kind of get it just because he's a creepier prop, but since he is selling so well and how he's literally selling out within hours, hopefully this means he'll be in store next season. I think he will, considering how Widow and Barry, both previous online only, sold very well, and they got brought into the store the next season. So I can definitely see this guy make a return for the 2024 season in store. And next up, we have Menacing Molly. Now, I know a lot of people like her, but I'm probably just going to put her in C tier. Even the original 2017 model, I was really never a big fan of. I just thought she was just kind of overrated, and at the end of the day, she's just another swinging prop, except oh, she bends her back backwards. And especially this new 2023 model, I will say I do like how it bends back faster. I think that's very nice. But overall, the face sculpt is not doing it for me. You can easily tell that Crazy Create definitely did not save her old face sculpt. So one of the coolest parts about the old one, which was her face sculpt, totally just got ruined in this new model. Kind of sucks how she's not that good, but I was never really a big fan of her anyways, if I'm being completely honest. Next up, we have the Ghost Swing. I'm putting this thing in F tier. You might know my reputation with the ghost props. I absolutely hate them. The Ghost Tricycle, the Ghost Swing, Ghost whatever, it's the stupidest and laziest idea. It's just so dumb. This could easily be made homemade for way cheaper than what's being sold. It's literally just a plank of wood with some rope and creepy cloth, and they're selling it for almost, I think it's like $80 or something. Super overpriced, and it's just very stupid overall. Alright, next up we have the Fogging Gargoyle. I can probably put this guy in C tier. I'll put him above the Cotton Candy Cocoon Corpse. But honestly, I don't really care for this guy too much. He's a very detailed static, I will say that. He is $300, but he is very good quality at the end of the day. I just feel like also, too, he's just not going to be that big of a showstopper. So, at the end of the day, what are you actually getting for $300? I feel like if you're to shell out $300, I'd just rather do it on a bigger prop, something like Stalker at that point, who will actually be a showstopper. But I can totally see why people like this guy, but personally it's just not for me. Now we have the Black Heart, easily putting him in S tier. He is such a fantastic prop. The whole reveal of how he reveals the decayed body is just amazing. I love how fast his arm moves out. I love the detail on him. It's literally distortions quality. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I really do enjoy this guy, and he is definitely up there as one of the tops for the 2023 season. Also, in general, we haven't really seen a lot of Grim Reapers, so it's very refreshing to see actual good and unique Grim Reaper instead of one that just kind of moves its head side to side with a basic scythe. It's actually refreshing to see a unique concept being used for a Reaper, and it does not feel bland or anything generic at all. Next up, we have Dagger Mike, and I'm probably putting him at high C. Once again, he's definitely one I need to see in person. He actually looks a lot bigger in person. He is about 5 feet tall, if I'm right. I do like the color scheme, and his face doesn't look half bad. But the overall outfit's just not doing it for me. His pants are super weird. His legs are super short and stubby, and it just really does not work for me. Although I will say this, I do like how sharp the daggers are in person. They actually look pretty sharp in person, and I'm glad that they didn't make them, super dull. But he actually looks semi-menacing just because it has sharp knives. Okay, and next up we have Lil Jack Carver. I think I can comfortably put this guy in B tier. Probably mid to high B tier. I know a lot of people enjoy him. And for what he is, he actually works very well. I think out of all the props in the $100 to $200 range, he's definitely one of the best. I do wish that the pumpkin was a full sculpt instead of just a mask, but honestly, you can't really notice it. Another complaint I do have with this guy is the fact that he doesn't really have any hands or any legs. I do feel like Spirit kind of cheaped out there. But the face he reveals is actually pretty creepy and all mutilated. So I do appreciate Spirit, giving some props a scare factor this year. And next up we have the Crypt Keeper, or as the box calls it, the Keeper. Very, strange prop just with the audio. and the whole licensing deal, it's very bizarre. I think I will put him in C tier though. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan in the whole world of Tales from the Crypt. And also, you know, it's $400. It's really not that big either. And also, the licensing on it is super strange. I still do not know why they didn't get the original voice actor to voice it, but some issue in licensing went down, I'm assuming. I don't know why they couldn't have just reused this old same lines, but you know, at that point, I don't know why it's $400. I really cannot tell you. It has to be something with licensing. I mean, that's my only guess. He is online only too, but I feel like just the voice kind of kills it for me. It's also crazy create, so you know, it's not going to be the greatest quality either. But appearance wise, he actually doesn't look too shabby. And he is a very faithful recreation, besides the voice, to the original, I believe, 1998 Crypt Keeper animatronic. I believe it was 1998. Correct me if I'm wrong. And next up, we have Poor George, another fan favorite. I think I can put this guy in B tier as well, kind of with Jack Carver. He is definitely one of the best, kind of $100 to $200 range, kind of where like the smaller props are. At least in, you know, Spirit is nowadays. I think him and Lil Jack Carver are definitely the best props in that category. I do love his animation, and also in real life he looks absolutely massive. I love that they gave him, you know, like a gore kind of plate at the bottom. I do think they could have gave him more blood around the actual torso, but you can just easily add that, and I'm glad that they, you know, they actually made detail on the play of that bomb instead of just making it plain blank red. I feel like he probably would have been in C tier, honestly, if it wasn't detailed at all. But yeah, his motion looks absolutely incredible. I love how it spins around in one direction like 2 times, and then it stops and it goes in the other direction. Super cool idea. I also love that he has 2 faces. Overall, super amazing, fantastic prop, and I'm glad to see that's decently gory, even if, you know, that there's not even a lot of blood on it, if I'm being real. And next up, we have the returning creepy rising doll. Now, I'm probably gonna put her in A tier. I've always kind of loved this prop, just from 2015. I love how it rises up and its eyes change colors and how its mouth opens, and just how it has a lot of movement and just a lot of things going for it. I think the face sculpt design in general is pretty creepy as well, and I'm pretty glad that they brought her back. I do think that she is slightly overrated. I enjoy her more than some other people. I know some people really don't like her. I know some people absolutely love her. I think she's a solid A tier prop. Probably will not be getting her, but overall she's a very just solid prop, honestly, you know. Very creepy as well. She really feels like menacing when she starts to tower over at, I believe, 6.5 feet, I think. Always love the concept of this prop. Also, this year's model seems to be better quality, which is always nice to see. And overall, it's still fairly faithful to the original 2015 Creepy Rising doll. And next up, we have another returning prop, Grave Watcher. I think I'll put her in B tier, probably right before Lil Jack Carver. I think this is honestly better than the original. YJ did an amazing job. Although I'm sad that this is one of YJ's only props. I really feel like they should have made more props this year. But they still did do a fantastic job with Grave Watcher. Love how they gave her that extra movement. And it wasn't like too out of the ordinary for Grave Watcher. Still fit her with the head tilting back and forth. And honestly, I think this is an improvement from the original. I think I might like the voice a bit better. And, you know, there's another new animation too. And it's probably better of the same quality. I think the original was Pan-Asian, so YJ's probably going to be better quality. Overall, very solid prop. I definitely would not get her since I already have the original Grave Watcher. And I can faithfully say that this is an absolutely amazing recreation. Next up, we have this scary sitting scarecrow. I'll probably put this guy in C tier, probably right before Menacing Molly. I really honestly don't care for this guy too much. I think his face looks cool. Is he better than the normal scene scarecrow? maybe I just have more kind of nostalgia bias towards the OG scene Scarecrow. I do like the light up eyes and the overall face. It's obviously clearly inspired by Wicked Makers, or at least it's very similar, or it's just an absolutely crazy coincidence. I do think that the Wicked Makers, kind of prop makeover looks a lot better. And if it looked exactly like that, it'd probably be an A tier. It almost just looks like a bootleg version of it, and that kind of brings it down for me, in my opinion. I think if, we didn't have the Wicked Makers prop makeover to actually look at, to compare it to, I think everyone would probably put it a lot higher and say it's actually a pretty good recreation. But honestly, it's just kind of forgettable and just how big the lineup is. And as I said, this is probably Spirit's biggest lineup ever. I mean, or at least in the past couple years, because there are so many props both in store and online only. And next up we have Gordo, the prop with the vine boom. Everybody kind of memes on it. I'll put him in C tier. I think he's fine, probably right before Menacing Molly. Honestly, the jump scare doesn't look like anything too crazy. I feel like it wouldn't scare too many people. I do like the pumpkin guts, though. I think that's really cool. But I still think that this guy should have just been a tabletop. I don't know why they put him on a pillar. If you really want to, you could probably make that pillar yourself if you wanted him on a pillar. He'd be a fine tabletop if he was just a tabletop. But the fact that he's being made into an animatronic just because they put him up on a pillar is kind of dumb, in my opinion. And next up, we have an amazing prop, the Cauldroness. I'm easily putting her at S tier, and I think this is a fantastic prop. Let's be honest, I think when we first saw her being 4 feet at 280, when all the Spirit animatronic names were dropped, we knew she'd do something cool. And then people were kind of clowning on her once they saw her face, which I guess still is kind of fair. Her face is still a bit weird for me, but her emotion and the fog machine stuff is just so cool. I love how she pours the bottle in, and then it's kind of a bit of like less fog pumping out, so it actually looks like liquid. And then the fog just doesn't kind of like settle in the cauldron. It like blasts up, which is just super cool. And then the green flashing lights, it just works really well. And I'm really glad that Techie made this, because if another company like SVI made this, sure, maybe they would have given her better sculpt, but she wouldn't have those like insane fog features, or they definitely wouldn't have looked as good. So I'm really glad that Spirit gave Techie the rights to make this prop, because I think it turned out absolutely amazing, and I am really sad that it is in box only. And I actually might get her this year. I'm really deciding on it, because she is a very, very cool one. And next up we have the 7-foot Emmeline or Emmeline. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. I'll just call it Emmeline because that sounds more natural. Right off the bat, putting her in S tier as well. Very, very solid prop. The motion is absolutely incredible, and honestly, the only complaints I have with it is that, the character itself is a bit basic, but it's kind of like a Mr. Dark situation where really the main thing with this prop is the animation. The fact that it jumps essentially 4 feet out at you in retail is like something we've never seen before. I mean, it really is like something you'd see in like poison props. Obviously, it's not pneumatic or anything, but it is kind of almost reaching that level, which is kind of insane to think about for retail. As I said, her clothing isn't too detailed. I think her sculpt could be a bit better, but her animation 100% makes up for it. I think almost everyone's probably putting her in S tier, because this is just a fantastic prop. $280 for it as well isn't horrible, considering that, everything's inflated nowadays, and Mr. Dark last year was $280, I believe, as well. So if you have Mr. Dark, it's almost kind of like Mr. Dark, goes up, and then this is horizontal, so it's kind of like a good parallel to Mr. Dark in a way. And next up we have Desmodus. Now I'm going to put this guy in A tier right off the bat, probably right below Slim. I think that's fair. This guy's just jump scare animation is absolutely insane in person. When I saw his official demo video posted, I wasn't too thrilled with this guy, honestly. But the moment I saw him at Flagship, I mean, it is an insane motion. I mean, this guy's obviously, I'd imagine, is super cool in person. I mean, just the wings snapping up super fast and how he jumps up. It really does look like, at least probably in the dark, looks like, you know, he's like jumping off the pillar. Now, I'm not going to lie, I did think that this guy would be like a 6 foot tall, like massive rainforest bat creature, which honestly I think would have been cooler. And I really do wish that they went this route. But this is definitely better than what I thought he would do. I thought he'd just kind of be on the pillar and maybe just flap his wings and that's it. But yeah, I was pretty blown away with just how fast and quick this animation is. I mean, it will literally give anyone a startle. It's really impressive. And next up we have the Thresher, or the Thresher walkthrough. I kind of forget what he's called. I'll probably put him in low C tier, maybe D tier. I'm really looking at that D tier. I do not like this guy's face, but he is still kind of tall. He will stand out, so I think for that reason, I will probably put him in C tier. But yeah, I do not really like this guy, like, at all. When we first saw an online-only Fu Yu prop, let's be honest, I think we all had our hopes that it was Barnyard Butcher, and then it turned out to be this guy. It's just kind of disappointing, let's all be real. He doesn't even have any animation. When I first saw the description of this guy, I thought maybe he would kind of, like, pull the fabric apart to kind of, like, reveal a walkthrough and maybe have, like, mouth movement. But he just doesn't even do anything. If you want a prop, you know, that's like a walkthrough prop that's like 10 feet tall that you can walk through, just get like one of the animated ones, like Morris Costumes at this point. There's really no reason to get this guy unless you really like the sculpt, because there's so many better like walkthrough props out there that are animated and are just a lot cooler overall. So I think I can comfortably put him in C tier. Next up we have Darling Dolly, easy S tier as well. Probably low S tier, I think I'm fine with that. I do think she's also slightly overrated, but that motion is absolutely incredible. The way she lurches down, it looks really fast in person, and I love how her eye colors changes as well. I think it kind of took inspiration from the Creepy Rising doll, at least I'm assuming. But yeah, I mean, that motion is just incredible. Some of these props have insane motion. And I really do like her kind of tree branches. Like, I do really like her tree branch-like hands. They're very, very creepy. And it's just something very, like, uncanny. Like, it's something you'd literally see in your nightmares. Just how it's all just tall. It's, like, 7 feet tall. It has, like, twig branch hands. Has, like, a doll face. Super creepy. And honestly, it'd be an amazing scare and a haunt. Next up, we have the Martian Warrior from Mars Attacks. Not the movie, but the card series. I'm probably gonna put this guy in high B tier. I know a lot of people like him. I'm just not the biggest fans of Mars Attacks, so I don't really have a reason to like him. But I do like that this guy missed. I think that's a very cool feature. I do like that, you know, Spirit's kind of utilizing water in some of their props more. Really, I've been waiting for another prop to use, like, a water feature since Wolf Spitter came out in 2012. And I'm really glad that they're finally doing that. They could have easily went with fog, but I've actually seen a video with a mist on, and it looks honestly incredible. Unfortunately, he does only have head-turning movement, which normally I would be fine with. But considering that this guy is $400, I do not understand why, like, all the licensed prop this year are $400. I get, like, you know, slim, he's like 7 feet tall, he's detailed or whatever. Crypt Keeper, I guess, just because such a famous character. Leatherface actually used to be $350, and I think he still is $350. But at Flagship, he had a $400 price tag, and then I know he has like another $300 price tag, so I don't even know his price anymore. But Martian Warrior, I cannot tell you guys why he's 400. I think it's kind of scary to see that we're reaching a $400 price point with some of these licensed props, and I don't know. I feel like Spirit's just really taking advantage of the fans that, you know, if they're fans of the movies, they're like, oh, we have to get this. But I don't know, it's just kind of unfortunate because he's a really cool prop, incredible face sculpt, but I do not know why he's that much. I cannot tell you guys. Future HP Hans here, and let me just start by saying I just realized that this tier list actually forgot Hellspawn, so I'm just gonna rank him real quick. I'll probably put Hellspawn probably in A tier right above Desmodus. I think it's a solid competitor to Mr. Dark. I probably would have put him in S tier, to be honest, if we haven't seen Mr. Dark before, but just because we've seen Mr. Dark before, I'm not like as impressed by him. But I do feel like that he might actually jump up a bit faster than Mr. Dark and maybe even a bit taller just because he has those horns. Might be a bit wrong, but I love his sculpt. I think it looks amazing. Apparently he's a lot better quality as well, so solid improvement. As I said, just because we've seen Mr. Dark before, I'm not really as impressed as this guy, like not as wowed. So really, if we haven't seen Mr. Dark before, I would have enjoyed this guy a lot more. But I still do think he definitely deserves to spawn the A tier because no matter which character is on that mech, it's sure to give a scare. And finally, we have the Howling Spirit. And I'm probably gonna put this guy in B tier. Probably right before Lil Jack Carver. I think I'm comfortable with that. He a very solid cheat ghost, honestly, you know. He's not anything too crazy, you know. He's not any, like, Mr. Dark or Harvester Souls, you know. He's just, you know, classic Halloween prop, and it's honestly really refreshing to see that. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I don't really have, you know, too much of, like, a use for it just because it's just a classic cheat ghost. But it's actually really nice just to see it. A normal Halloween prop for once. You know, we don't really see too much of those nowadays, and I don't know, it was just really nice to see. Once again, it just kind of moves its arms up and down, so it doesn't do anything crazy. But honestly, I know some people don't like him. I know some people absolutely love him. He's actually pretty solid for me, and she ghosts are always pretty cool. Anyways, that is the full tier list. If you agreed with my tier list, then pretty cool. If not, that's fine. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, share, and of course, goodbye everyone.